A very good evening to you all and welcome from me, Rukidi Kiijanangoma, to our second and final edition of News Tonight here on UBC TV this Tuesday, the 15th day of April 2025. First though, let's have a look at our top stories. In our top stories tonight, President Yoweri Museveni threatens to stop bail for those swindling PDM fans. PASAID leads Uganda's push to shield exporters, diversify markets after a US tariff deadline. Members of Parliament demand increased funding for the health sector. And in sports, Uganda Cubs return after earning a World Cup Under-17 qualification. Hello there and welcome once again. We are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcasting House here on Nile Avenue. Now, President Yoweri Museveni has warned that everyone implicated in swindling money meant to benefit local communities under the Parish Development Model Program will be prosecuted. Museveni is on a Parish Development Model Assessment Tour of Greater Mubende starting from Kyankwanzi District this Tuesday. He said he would engage the Chief Justice on bailing out the corrupt on top of inviting State House Anti-Corruption Unit. The President also visited Reverend Emmanuel Kiyemba of St. Joseph Catholic Parish in Busuju, Mityana District, which has become a model stopover in the area. We have more in this story.
In Bugomola Central Village in Nkandwa Sub-County, Kyankwanzi District is where you find a one Balongo Patrick Matovu, a 2023 Parish Development Model beneficiary. Balongo, who received a 1 million government package and invested in poultry, has hosted the President of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, as he kicked off Greater Mubende Wealth Creation Tour on Tuesday 15th April 2025.
Twagulanga buli kakoko nga tukagula omutwalo gumu n'ekitundu ne tugula obukoko bwa mitwalo nkaaga obukoko 40.
He says he later interested himself in doing dairy cattle keeping.
Bwe twawoza emitwalo 9 ne tubeera nga tugamba kakati tuteeketeeke project endala ne tugamba tunoonyeyo ente.
Residing on a free acre piece of land, Balongo, who started law, is now living his dream life.
Twalundira emyezi 6, enkoko ezo ne zikula bulungi, ne tujjamu enkoko 10 ne tuzitunda, ennaku zaali nnaku nkulu. Buli nkoko twagitundanga emitwalo 4 n'ekitundu. The
PDM misconduct also initiated a wider discussion with many fronting issues of corruption, and this touched and concerned the President.
Bakalika balinga milioni 5 zokka ku milioni esukka 2 kitekeeza ekigenderwakyo otukolera banka z'emiruka omuluka gw'ennabweyo n'omuluka gwa lubiri tebasobola kugenda mu maaso. Sente ze babajjako ezimu ziri ku CID headquarter.
Nadanga azimba mulaba nekubira nabanne baga musajja yatubba nga azimba tanaza sente zaffe kati bamukuta ogwokubiri nga atabbi era baagala muta. Your Excellency, waliwo amateeka we gatusobera nago.
Ababbi bona na budde kubanga bali wano mu Uganda tebali mu Congo.
The President further allayed fears of the communities by offering to deploy Brigadier Isoke from the State House and corruption units to Kyankwanzi District.
Abo basiru era bagenda kuyiga. Ngenda kusindika Brigadier Isoke ajje wano enkya want corruption. Temawulira bona akwata abekiboga. Kati kino kinkoze bulungi ngenda bagenda kubakwata bonna.
From Kyankwanzi, the President visited Busonjo Town Council in Mityana District. Here he visited St. Joseph Catholic Parish, where Reverend Emmanuel Kiyemba is leading Christians in extensive farming. The model farm is venturing in coffee growing, farming, poultry, among others.
Tujja kusaba Your Excellency okukonsideringa ebitundu ebyo nga town councils ne municipalities oboolyawo n'ebyalo ebimu ebirimu abantu abangi okusobola okuba nga PDM akubisibwamu emirundi.
Naye bwe nabadde tonnajja abantu ba wano abaana bavaamu mu masomero olw'ebisale ebiri mu masomero ojja kubayamba. Yes, abaana baffe ab'abanaku naddala ab'abanaku ate ng'ekigendererwa kyo kyakulaba ng'abaana baffe bonna basoma.
Ekindeese kwe kukuba enduulu ku nsonga y'obwavu.
The presidential donations here excited the congregation.
Ngenda kumuweereza miliyoni 10 azongere ku mirimu gy'akola. Ate ekereziya eno ngenda kuteeka ku miliyoni 5,000. Ate omusosodoti ngenda kumuweereza tractor. Ati LC1 ngenda kumuweereza tukutuku. Ate angambye nteeka ekisaawe kyammwe kibanja miliyoni 5. Nazo muzimuweereze kati asigale nazo. Ow'essomero ansabye baasi kubanga agambye nti nga booze wano twagala ekijjukizo. Ngenda kunoonya baasi y'abaana b'essomero liri.
The presidential wave creation tour will end on Thursday 17th April 2025. Robert Nyango, UBC News.
Thanks, Onyango, with that story there. Now, with the clock ticking on a 30-day reprieve before a 10% U.S. tariff on Ugandan imports takes effect, the government is fast-tracking a series of interventions to shield its exporters and protect hard-won market share. The Presidential Advisory Committee on Exports and Industrial Development, PASAID, chaired by Audrey Rabogo, is in charge and also pushing for transformation.
Uganda's export engine has been running at full throttle. But with the US set to impose a 10% duty on incoming goods, that momentum is now under pressure.
This 10% imposed across the board, so you don't have a goer, but the few products going in now have an extra 10%. So people should just stop consumption and first see what do we do here, because for us, who know that in the last 63 years, this is the first time that a Ugandan company is trying to sell roasted coffee in the US. It hurts us. And therefore, we speak about this, we try to find solutions to this because it matters to producers. The US market is important in 3 ways. First, in the last 40 years, I don't know any country, any newly industrializing country, whether it's Turkey, whether it's Indonesia, whether it's Malaysia, whether it's China, whether it is Japan, that has not grown based on this market.
Still, the response has been sharp and strategic. The Presidential Advisory Committee on Exports and Industrial Development, PASAID, has opened direct lines with both U.S. trade officials and key Ugandan agencies to keep negotiations active.
We're speaking about this so that there begins an open engagement on some of the sensitive products, sensitive technology, because we also buy from the US. We buy aircraft parts, we buy some things, so it's two-way. It may be small, but Uganda is a growing country in a region that is full of young people who admire cultural products from the US, who admire technology from the US. So suppose we acted jointly as a region, we would say, okay, you put 10%, we are putting 15 or 20%, and they would listen, but you are too small.
Markets in the UAE, India, China, and across Africa are being identified as promising alternatives.
So Nigeria is promising, so is Serbia. Serbia, we're close to shipping the first container, 20 foot, of 200 grams roasted coffee. The same with the UK. There's a lot of orders in the grain sector and coffee. And we now, with the airline going in this month or next month, we should be able to open a location to allow Ugandan products, not just coffee, Ugandan grains, Ugandan bananas, which are already going there under one location. So we're not short of markets. Markets are available, but they are taken away with the left hand, given with the right, taken away with the left, because of lack of understanding and lack of adequate preparation at home. Meaning you are not aggregating enough and on time, because you need money to do that.
Pasaid is also driving value addition, ensuring that Ugandan products are processed, branded, and certified to meet international standards.
Now, a Chinese investor, the manufacturer of cherry cars and a range of products, is in Uganda to seek for investment opportunities. The Prime Minister of Uganda, Rukidi Kiijanangoma, has met the Chinese investor here in Kampala and assured them of government support to set up an assembly plant for cars and buses.
Cherry Holdings Group, a Chinese company, are the manufacturers of cherry cars. The company is worth $70 billion, more than Uganda's GDP of about $50 billion.
It's about $70 billion, and we have sold 2.6 million cars to the worldwide.
The Vice President and Board Secretary of Cherry Holdings Group, Zhu Hu, is in Uganda to seek for investment opportunities, including setting up an assembling plant for cherry cars.
We focus on the automotive and also the agricultural, the components, and the energy. Also include the green materials. And for the Global Fortune 500, we ranked 385 in 2023.
The group met the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robina Nabanja, today.
You are coming to Uganda definitely is an open door check, because the country is secure. You know, you put your money here, you are secure. We have peace and security of both property and people. Because I was told you are coming here to put an assembling plant. And that assembling plant will help you to access the East African market. It will help you to access the Comesa market. It will also help you to access the African Free Trade Area with 1.5 billion people as our population. Because of the partnerships we have in Africa, you can access those markets free.
The company is seeking to set foot in Uganda to assemble electric cars, buses, cable railway, agricultural machinery like tractors, electric car chargers, solar panels, flying cars, motorcycles, robots, among other range of products.
In energy, electric vehicles, agricultural modernization, and sustainable infrastructure. Cherry brings with it not only just high technology, but also a strong commitment to local collaboration.
The first one is the train. We call it the single tire train. Only one tire behind the cab. And another second is about the EV bus for the city. The third is about the sharing, or always we can call it the share taxi, like the Uber.
The Prime Minister promised the Chinese investors that Uganda is ready to provide them with incentives to facilitate their stay in Uganda.
There are so many investment benefits we give companies that come in Uganda. We give them 10 years tax holiday. If you want to invest in the country, we can also give you free land.
She also encouraged the investors to work towards adding value to agricultural products and minerals in Uganda.
We want to add the value to coffee so that we can export coffee ready to consume in China and many other African countries. We have milk. We can add value to milk. Nowadays we have a lot of eggs. The government injected money in our farmers, and farmers are producing a lot of eggs. We are having a problem of marketing. We want to add value to our eggs. Then lastly, we also want to add value to other minerals. We have a lot of minerals in the country.
She commended the Chinese government for supporting African countries in order to get out of poverty.
China has really helped us in a number of things, and I want to appreciate the government of China for partnering with African countries.
That story compiled by Jingo Francis. The Petroleum Infrastructure Development Project Phase 2 and the Electricity Access Scale-Up Project have topped the funding priorities under the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development in the next financial year, 2025-2026. The report of the Parliamentary Committee on Natural Resources, presented by Soroti City East, a Member of Parliament, Herbert Ariko, fronts budget estimates of 1.714 trillion shillings for the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development to aid operations.
The budget for the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development for the financial year 2025-2026 is projected to rise by 501.9 billion shillings from the current financial year 2024-2025. This excludes supplementary budget of both the current and the projected financial year. The chairperson of the Committee on Natural Resources and Environment, Herbert Ariko, was presenting the budget estimates and the ministerial policy statements for financial year 2025-2026. The report cites an over-budgeting for the midstream Petroleum Infrastructure Development Project Phase 2, describing it as inflating the ministry budget. The project's budget has been earmarked at 653.4 billion shillings, but without clear work plans. Chairperson Herbert Ariko wants the Minister of Finance to address the menace.
The Minister has also increased the Government of Uganda funding for this particular project from 10.4 billion to, in the ministerial policy statement, to 32.9 billion for this particular project.
Both this project and the Electricity Access Scale-Up project have topped the funding priorities under the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development in the next financial year 2025-2026. The Electricity Scale-Up project has been budgeted at 346 billion shillings. In this running financial year 2024-2025, the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development was allocated a budget of 1.212 trillion shillings, of which budget is expected to increase up to 1.714 trillion shillings in the next financial year.
You will also note in our report that there is a very fundamental issue of poor funding for rural electrification as well as electricity scale-up projects, which are crucial projects for the transformation of this country.
The report also shows that most erected poles under the rural electrification project have started to rot due to government delay to pay certificates of completed works totaling to 75.622 billion shillings. The MPs shared various reactions on the electricity shortage.
Right Honourable Speaker, the way to solve this challenge of heavy traffic in the ministry by individuals is to agree on a standard formula on how many kilometers of electricity lines are going in each district each year.
The power outage is too much. We have lines passing by in our constituencies, but every day power is not there. We have power maybe once in 2 weeks. So I want to know and inquire from the minister, why is it happening?
What about if the ministry can also start writing proposals, and because electricity is funded cheaply, KFW, AFD, World Bank, Kuwait Energy Fund, many funders for electricity. That's how we manage to do projects for electrification.
There is nothing that we can actually hide on electricity distribution, and all the questions that have been raised on electricity distribution are actually valid. everybody would want to have electricity. Every village would want to have electricity. But the limiting factor, you have rightly identified it, it is funding.
The Parliamentary Committee on Natural Resources also shows how the electricity demand in Uganda has grown at an average rate of 7% over the last 10 years.
The current installed capacity of electricity in the country is 2,051 megawatts. The actual available dependable capacity is approximately 1,372 megawatts.
The report presents a budget of 1.488 trillion of the Ministry of Water and Environment for the next financial year. However, shillings 50 billion is needed to improve water storage and network expansion.
A number of government ministries, departments and agencies have defaulted in clearing their water bills, some of them taking up to 20 months. The committee observed that this has resulted in the accumulation of unpaid water bills to a tune of 107 billion.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
72 members of parliament from the opposition have appended their signatures to a document confirming they have not taken the 100 million shillings from government, and this document has been made public. The MPs, through the leader of opposition, Joel Senyonyi, however, appealed to the public not to pressurize their members of parliament to take this money.
Members of Parliament from the opposition have responded to the letter of President Dr. Museveni on the alleged 100 million Ugandan shillings cash bonanza. The president challenged the opposition on being silent on foreign aid, but questioned the 100 million bonanza.
If you have evidence against anyone who is receiving money from foreign agents or from whoever illicitly, expose them. Every country can have classified, but it should be one commensurate to your resource envelope as a country. Number two, it should be justifiable. Because if you're spending 3.3 trillion shillings on classified every year, this is money that is not to be accounted for. In Somalia, in Congo, wherever we are and so on, there's a separate budget for all of those different things. So you cannot even say this classified, it helps to bolster our operations in South Sudan, in Congo.
Senyonyi maintains that the cash handout is aimed at influencing the UPDF amendment bill, as evidenced by the government business presented by the Prime Minister for this week.
Because their intent is to see that civilians continue to be tried illegally by the military courts, even after the Supreme Court came out clearly. So you can see that we were right on the money.
For it. So it's our responsibility as members of Parliament to amplify and to be together to fight it and mobilize Ugandans so that we can fight it together.
This parliament has sober Ugandans, leaders, who are going to fight that illegal law, because it's not for Ugandans. It is for a very few group of people against the dissenting voices of many Ugandans.
We are aware even they are going to bring the UPDF amendment bill. We are going to stand once again against it the way we did for the coffee bill, however much we shall be, very few. But
Senyonyi disagrees with the claims that the money was to support MPs monitor government programs.
Part of our cardinal responsibility that we are paid for, as we keep the government in check, as we hold it accountable, is an oversight role. That's one of our cardinal responsibilities, to play an oversight role over all government programs. So how does it make sense then when somebody says, yeah, this corrupt money, it is to help MPs to go and monitor government programs. But that's why we are paid as members of Parliament, to monitor all government programs. Why is this an exception? Pressures that we have as members of Parliament, yeah? But we are not going to fall into this trap to steal money so that we can meet the demands of our voters. No. Because then, shall we have the moral authority to challenge corruption?
72 members of the opposition have so far appended their signatures on a document that confirms that they have not taken the money, and the list has been made public. I'm Nafka Farida and Gloria Guitabinji at Parliament.
The National Resistance Movement primaries will start in May with NRM chairperson at village level, while primaries for directly elected members of parliament will be in June this year. The roadmap was released by the party Secretary General Richard Todwong in Kampala. We have more in the story.
I hereby officially launch the National Resistance Movement electoral roadmap that starts.
In a media briefing on Tuesday, the NRM Secretary General Richard Todwong and top NRM party officials unveiled the roadmap for primaries.
I hereby launch the roadmap.
Some of the key days to remember include the polling day for NRM chairpersons at village level is 6th May 2025. The polling day for youth, persons with disabilities and older persons is 24th May. The polling day for members of parliament, constituencies and district women members of parliament is 16th July. The polling day for local government, LC5, municipal and city division mayor is 24th July. The polling day for local government, councils LC4, municipal and city division councillors is 18th August. The polling day for local government councils LC3, sub-county, town council and municipal division is 15th August. The NRM National Conference to elect the NRM Presidential Flag Bearer, the Executive Committee of SEC, Executive Committees of Special Organs at national level, Special Interest Groups MP Flag Bearers like youths, workers, PWDs and other persons is from 22nd to 25th August.
That the party has an authentic digitalized members register, which we are going to use in our internal party election and for mobilization. In the just concluded registration of members, we have 20.7 million members of the party. Now that you can discount from the 45.9 million members of your population, that means close to 40-something% of the population of Uganda are members of the National Resistance Movement Party.
Meanwhile, the nomination fees for the party primaries goes as follows. The President, 20 million Uganda shillings. Members of Parliament, 3 million Uganda shillings. Lord Mayor, 1.5 million shillings. City Councillors, 500,000 shillings. Lord Councillors, 1 million shillings. LC5 Chairperson, 1 million shillings. LC5 Councillors, 200,000 shillings. City Division Mayors, 1 million shillings. Municipal and Division Councillors, 100,000 shillings. Sub-county, town council, division, municipal, local government chairpersons, 20,000 shillings. Sub-county and town council councillors, 20,000 shillings. LC1 chairpersons, 10,000 shillings. Joseph Chigozi and Philip Aguta, UBC News.
You should.
Let's now take a short break, but we'll be returning with much more. Do stay with us.
Come on, in my pocket, tambula body street, shoes are my target. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. I'm in a plantation, but on a global mission, internet ambition, full condition. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. Oro cash is gone, netagayo karoni, niga mukafoni, money in the zone. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. We are good.
With you and MTN together, our ambition is unstoppable.
We are what? Unstoppable!
Nze mbonipa Sam nazanya Ruto ganyiga star 278 then hash ujja kuba ngo oyingire mu kazannyo nga sente zino zimula wano zina wangu zino wano milioni 10 ebindi wanasooka biraba ku TV nange saasoka kikiriza ninga mulaye kino kinzo kubanga kituufu oba yaddala tibya bufere sente zona zifunye zona zikoze eki naziwangudde amasanyu nyina mangi ebyoto byange byembadde njagala ngenda bituukiriza.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Tuba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory.
Special announcement from the Baseline Education Census 2025. The Uganda Bureau of Statistics, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and Sports, is conducting the Baseline Education Census 2025. This exercise will cover all learning institutions in the country for both government and private establishments, namely pre-primary, primary, secondary, vocational, and higher institutions of learning. The Baseline Education Census exercise data collection is being conducted in a phased manner, starting with Greater Kampala Metropolitan Area, comprising of districts of Kampala, Mukono, and Wakiso. The rollout to all other regions will commence at the beginning of second term. The Baseline Education Census collects information on learners, teachers, and school facilities to facilitate planning and policy decisions in the education sector. Uganda Bureau of Statistics appeals to the general public, heads of schools and institutions, as well as the local government authorities to cooperate with the BEC enumerators. In a special way, UBOS appeals to all parents of the learners to support the exercise by availing learners with their correct date of birth, national identification number, and learner's identification number. For more information, please call 0772 933 628 or 0743 787 189 from Dr. Chris Mukiza, Executive Director.
We used to run, but most of the time we were running away from something. But nowadays, everything seems different. People still run, but they are running towards something. They run to test their limits, to break new records. And when we do it right, we inspire others.
The inaugural Coffee Marathon, uplifting rural coffee women, 24th May at Africa Coffee Park, Ntungamo.
Come, let us run.
To register, dial *217 *413 #. Choose option 4. Or scan the event QR code or visit the website to choose the race options. Brought to you by Inspire Africa Group.
Welcome back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. Warm welcome to those of you just joining us. I am Rukidi Kiijanangoma. Security has been significantly heightened in Mwalimu Naguru Drive, Nakawa Division, following the deployment of police and military personnel to safeguard Ministry of Lands officials during a high-stakes land conflict meeting. The deployment stemmed from intelligence reports received by the Nakawa and Kampala Central Resident City Commissioners, RCCs, indicating that previous land engagements in the area had faced resistance and disruptions from some residents.
The meeting was convened to address a long-standing dispute over Plot 54A and Plot 3 in Chualimu Zone. The State Minister for Lands, Dr. Sam Mayanja, led the delegation, which included Senior Presidential Assistant for Special Duties Fiona Barungi and the RCCs of Nakawa and Kampala Central.
There is a difference between Omusiramu, Chairman
The Area LC1 Chairman Ahmed Matov and concerned residents were also present. The tense gathering was closely monitored by security personnel. Chairman Matovu expressed the community's frustrations over unresolved land issues. In response, Minister Sam Mayanja read a report compiled by the State House Anti-Corruption Unit led by Brigadier Henry Isoke. The report read that the two plots in question had been illegally subdivided. He faulted Kampala District Land Board for allocating land that belonged to the Uganda Land Commission.
Plot 54 and Plot 3 belongs to two entities, which one part belonged to Isbad University, having acquired it from Silvano Angwakane, who had fully compensated the occupants, and another part from Mishabdin Muslim community, the Rubega family.
Should know where their boundaries are. They should know where their land is. The problem here was that this Kampala District Land Board thought this was their land.
whereas the land belonged to Uganda Land Commission. And it was after the effect, when the complaints came, that he discovered that actually they had given a title over what was not belonging to them.
Minister Mayanja ordered the cancellation of the land title held by Misbahuddin Muslim Community Limited. He directed that both Plot 54A and Plot 3 are repossessed by government.
Land here was owned by the Uganda Land Commission, so it was not available for the district land board to give to any person or authority. So that's why I've cancelled it. Number two, the surveying. Our officers in the ministry, they have the surveys, and the district land board should utilize those surveys to find out what belongs to them. Number two, also Uganda Land Commission, they should have a register of their land, the data bank, so that this kind of confusion doesn't come.
However, in compromise, Isbat University and Misbahuddin Muslim Community Limited will retain portions of the land.
We have directed that immediately our surveyor should come and demarcate the land that belongs to the community, the Muslim community, and then the land that belongs to Isbat University. Two entities have been identified as own this land. On the findings of the report of the State House Anti-Corruption Unit, which I've read publicly here, and everybody understood it. So it's a transparent document.
The meeting concluded with a site tour by the minister and officials, guided by LC1 Chairman Matovu, under heavy security surveillance. Joseph Chigozi, Jamil Sekaja, UBC News.
The Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities has launched activities for this year's International Museum Day. Martin Mugara, the State Minister for Tourism, says the climax of the activities will be on the 18th of May 2025 in Kabale District.
The Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities has rolled out activities ahead of the International Museum Day celebrations slated for the 18th of May 2025. Among the activities include workshops on cultural tourism, corporate social responsibility activities in the host community of Kabale.
On the 17th of May 2025, we'll have a sports gala at Kabale University Playgrounds. And then on the 17th May in the evening, we'll have a campfire and bull roasting. Then on the 18th of May, we'll have the main celebrations day at Kabale Stadium.
Kabale District will host this year's celebrations, and the stakeholders in the tourism industry are urged to popularize tourism centers and attractions in the region.
This whole department and sector is important really, as one that looks at protecting our culture, but also sharing it with the others for generations. Those that have had it before and those that will come before us. And that is why the preservation of culture and our artifacts and the history around who we have become and who we've been before is very important to the sector.
Meanwhile, government has reaffirmed its commitment to renovate and construct regional museums by translating unspoken into open knowledge.
We want to use this opportunity to visit those museums and heritage spaces, and then we shall be able to create awareness for our domestic tourists to visit these places.
I see this as another opportunity for me to endorse and sell the beauty of my country out there. So I'm happy to be part of this.
Oyino kwa tulabanga kukona ekona li kisolo wali oyita mu kisolo jangunga olinde chapati toyimanyo obuji.
The International Museums Day will run under the theme Preserving Heritage, Transforming Communities. Abudunasili Lubwama and Regan Nahumuza for UBC.
Now, the RDC of Nakaseke, Rose Biabasheja, has called upon Nakaseke residents to shun tribalism and sectarianism. The RDC showed concern with leaders who forget to forward the needs of the areas they represent. This was during a Thanksgiving of Canon Professor Heba Wilbur in Charushesha, Kinyogoga in Nakaseke district.
problems of the communities, then you cease being a leader. Because what are you going to do now? So I'm appealing to them. When they come, let them be serious and ensure that they reach the ground. They get to know the problems of the communities so that they can go and lobby. You cannot lobby for a water source when you don't know that in some place there is a lack of water. The ones who are in the incumbents, you weigh and see. If he has served for 10 years, you first let him make an accountability. Subject them to an accountability. Ask him what has he done.
And Professor Ahewa Wilbur Manyisa appealed to the people for a vote come 2026 general elections to represent the residents of Nakaseke North.
I think my message to all NRM leaders, let us go down to the foundation of NRM. NRM has been founded on 10 points program, which I think is the base of the ideology of NRM. So those who are practicing tribalism, actually they are forgetting that the third point of NRM 10 points program was fighting the sectarianism and discriminating the people. So anybody who is actually practicing that, practicing politics of separating people, segregating people, to me I think they need to go back to the real ideology of NRM. And actually most of them need to be taken to Changwan for ideological training because they are doing a service to this
At the event was also former Nakaseke Member of Parliament, retired Major Janet Balunzi Mukwaya, who cautioned the residents of Nakaseke North against electing leaders without capacity to deliver. With the upcoming NRM ticket primaries all over Uganda, emergence of new challenging faces and names is the trend. Charity Nahabwe, UBC News, Nakaseke North.
Come on, mo pocket, tambula body street, shoes are my target. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. I'm in a plantation, but on a global mission, internet ambition, full condition. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. Oro cash is gone, netagayo karoni, nigga mukafoni, money in the zone. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. We are good.
With you and MTN together, our ambition is unstoppable.
We are what? Unstoppable!
The Office of the Prime Minister informs the general public that the country will be characterized by heavy rains from the month of March to May 2025. The public is advised to undertake the following measures to mitigate the devastating impacts of the heavy rains. Clear the drainage channels to avert flash floods. Cover all manholes and avoid walking and driving in flooded road sections. Trim the old or hanging tree branches near buildings and over the roads. Notify the authorities about the disasters caused by the rain in your area. Ensure that school-going children are accompanied to and from school by adults. And lastly, follow the weather updates provided by the Department of Meteorological Services. Please be safe.
I'd like to thank all our clients, our valued taxpayers, the people that we serve as we collect revenue for building our nation. I thank you very much for the questions you have sent through this program of Buza Commissioner. On behalf of URA, I would like to pledge that we are committed and we will continue to answer all the questions that you ask through this platform. The whole purpose for this program is to ensure that your pain points, your questions are efficiently responded to. So I would like to encourage all our taxpayers who have questions to ask to please utilize this program that we are running on UBC, that will be receiving your questions through the numbers that you've been given, and URA will be available to answer these questions every Monday and every Wednesday during the 8 o'clock news bulletin. And then on Sunday, after the news, we'll have a full response to all the questions that will have come in during the week. I thank UBC for supporting us in reaching our taxpayers, and I thank our taxpayers for responding positively to this program. Thank you very much.
Buza Commissioner.
Welcome back from that break, and now let's have a look at the latest in business. Leaders and people of Kiiboga district have requested government to establish an industrial park in the district which will aid in value addition and job creation. The Kiiboga district chairperson Kalunda Geraldine Siro says the district is ready to avail land which State Minister for Investment Evelyn Anite has welcomed. This was during a meeting with lower local council leaders where Government Chief Whip Hamson Obua encouraged them to support the president and government programs. Henry Okrot gives us more.
Ku kyalo Bugomora Central ekisangibwa mu Ggombolola
We do sincerely apologize for that mix-up of the stories there, but we'll get you that story as we continue with this bulletin. To other news now, Absa Bank Uganda has posted a robust set of financial results for the year ended December 31st, 2024, with profit after tax rising by 22% to 178 billion Ugandan shillings. The bank attributes the revenue increase by 15% to 546 billion Ugandan shillings to the remarkable resilience of Uganda's economy in 2024, with the real GDP accelerating to 6%, up from 5.3% in 2023. Dennis Sigoa reports.
The strong financial performance by Absa Bank Uganda is a reflection of the bank's strategic investments, says David Wandera, Absa Interim Managing Director. Total revenue growth of 15.1% was driven by a 21% increase in non-funded income and 11% growth in net interest income.
This growth underscores our confidence in Uganda's private sector and our role as a key enabler for business expansion and household empowerment. 2024 marked our first full year operating under our refreshed brand promise, Your Story Matters. This commitment reshaped our strategy, making it even more customer-centric.
The bank also saw an 11.5% growth in customer liabilities and a 12.7% increase in the loan book, which closed the year at 1.99 trillion Uganda shillings.
Customer deposits as well, very good growth in terms of 12%, which is also a reflection of what's happening in the local currency versus FCY space. A number of customers kind of hedging or keeping their deposits in terms of foreign currency. Even as the revenue comes in, we need to be more efficient, trying to ensure that we learn the necessary IT to try and drive business, and we need to serve our customers better.
ABSA management remains optimistic about 2025 despite global macroeconomic uncertainties such as the war in Ukraine.
Geopolitical tensions are expected to remain high with ongoing conflicts such as the war in Ukraine and tensions in the Middle East, continuing to create some level of economic uncertainty. And of course, we're now faced with the most recent, the whole issue of tariffs, which is creating a lot more uncertainty everywhere.
There's an impact on Trump executive orders. We've seen the kind of challenges different organizations are having in terms of the donor community.
According to Wandera, ABSA Bank's Uganda's performance in 2024 provides a springboard for continued innovation and inclusive growth in 2025 and beyond. Maureen Babidie, UBC.
The Executive Director, Electricity Regulatory Authority, ERA, Engineer Ziria Tibalwa Wako, has called on Ugandans to embrace ongoing reforms in the electricity sector, which are designed to deliver reliable and secure power distribution. Speaking at a public baraza marking the unveiling of Uganda's second-generation electricity sector reforms, Tibalwa emphasized the significance of the changes, as we hear in this story.
The shift from Umeme to the state-owned Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited marks a significant step in the second-generation reforms, building on the solid foundation laid by the first-generation reforms.
Because for us, we operate a live system. It cannot wait. It cannot wait. And that was done, and the recruitment processes have gone on, the redeployments are happening. We've managed to multitask because we are recruiting as well as Umeme has to end, as well as UDC has to ramp up. People have to be in interviews as well as they have to be in the field to do the actual work. We thank God we've come to the tail end of that.
The second-generation reforms are now underway, aimed at deepening these advancements with a key aspiration to accelerate universal access to electricity and improve operational performance across the entire electricity value chain.
But also, before the end of this month, I think by next week, we are going to start a new connection. We have materials in the stores. We are now packaging, distributing to our local offices. So the new connection line is going to be open next week. And Umeme has left a number of pending connections in the system. Of course, people are asking, so what's going to happen? Umeme has left. I want to assure every Ugandan that if you have satisfied all the requirements, the conditions that are required for the connection to be made, we are going to connect you at no extra cost.
In a public baraza marking the unveiling of Uganda's second-generation electricity sector reform, Engineer Ziria Tibalwa Wako reassured the public of the regulator's capacity to manage this transition.
So when you look at, because what is important to the public and to the Uganda is, shall the lights keep on? Shall we have reliable, secure, safe electricity? To answer to the two thematic areas, to fuel the industries, to spur economic development, but also to accelerate access, to improve the well-being and welfare of society. So the answer is yes. We may have perturbations here and there because of transitions, but it's a big yes.
Participants urged the new distribution entity to prioritize reducing electricity tariffs, a move they say would ease the cost of doing business and stimulate economic growth.
The engine of growth in Uganda is the SME sector. We hope that they get a program together to further reduce, because the SME sector is the one that feeds into as clients of the large manufacturers and the large industries, and the tariff actually comes down.
So my advice would be that do not disregard the opportunities that exist in the capital markets. I would say that, of course, because I believe that it is a good thing. And finally, I think if Ugandans are to own USDCL again, like they own Mubende, the government can also be a shareholder, just like they've done with New Vision and a couple of other entities.
Mary Namkose, UBC News.
Let's have a look now at the latest in sports as we come to the end of this bulletin. The Uganda Cubs have been welcomed home with an early morning plush reception at the Sheraton Hotel, Kampala. Now, the Cubs secured Uganda's first ever ticket to a FIFA World Cup tournament after a thrilling 2-1 victory over the Gambia in the playoff match played in Morocco. Take a watch.
The Uganda Cubs arrived in the country early this morning and were received by FIFA CEO Edgar Watson. After arrival, the under-17 national football team was hosted at the Sheraton Hotel for a sumptuous breakfast by FIFA President Honorable Moses Magogo and delegation.
It is a heroic and historic event that you have registered for Uganda. It is a testament of your hard work, of your perseverance, of your passion for the game of football.
The Cubs secured Uganda's first ever ticket to a FIFA World Cup tournament after a thrilling 2-1 victory over the Gambia in the playoff match at the Total Energies Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco.
Commitment and believing in what we said that we shall be in the World Cup come what may. That's what we've been singing since day one, and it has come to pass. I'm very happy for that.
Journey for AFCON in Morocco. First, it wasn't easy because we faced good teams. We qualified for World Cup, and that is why we are here. We are happy because we have qualified for World Cup.
The Cubs will now begin preparation for their maiden appearance at the FIFA Under-17 World Cup later this year in Qatar.
And we have been informed that this team is very coordinated and they are very focused. Remain focused and you will achieve great.
Marshamiro Victor, UBC News.
And of course, welcome back to the Cubs, and thank you so much for having made Uganda proud, and of course for hoisting our flag high. And of course, we do wish you all the best later on this year at the Qatar Under-17 World Cup. And that story brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for having kept us company. I am Rukidi Kiijanangoma, wishing you a blessed night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Great. What a wonderful opportunity to be here again over this great Easter coming in 2025. Easter is an amazing, amazing season for the Christian family. And my desire for all of us, wherever you are, this morning or evening or afternoon, I want to remind you again, the greatest hope that we have in life is the resurrection of Jesus Christ, the greatest hope. When Israel in the land of Egypt had to slaughter the lambs in the whole night, they had no idea of what that would mean for the eternity of Israel. And it's the same way when Jesus was on the cross, the whole world was sad and sorrowing. But we have no idea in the dynamics of the eternity that the cross brings back to us. I want to ask you to celebrate life in this particular season, knowing Christ has brought a future to you and for me that can never, no one can stop it from happening. The new hope that we all get is eternal life in Christ Jesus. We have a new identity as the family of God and children of God after his headship as the second Adam leading that family. So I just want you to be excited over this Easter. We have an identity of one another. Relationships have been built and we are put together by the power of the resurrection of Jesus. So when we confess Jesus, we confess our brotherhood, we confess our relationships, we confess the new eternal hope that God has given us. Our suffering is behind the cross. It's not before the cross. Before the cross is life eternal. So I want you to look forward beyond, just like they got to the grave. He wasn't there anymore. So death is not, it's left behind. What is before us is eternity forever and ever. May this resurrection season, may this Easter season bring the greatest hope, even to those of us in hospital, to those of us who are having pain. I want to remind you that is history to us. It's history to those who follow and love Jesus and know that he rose from the dead. It's amazing. So God bless you over this Easter. Expand your heart, grow, come over the year with a new hope and with a difference. Rise over above your challenges and above the problems that you are going through. I wish you a very great season, a season that will change your life and make you totally a different person. Lift your hope, for Christ has provided that hope for us in his cross. And God bless you. God bless you greatly.
Now, when Governor Anne Nkutu sets a date for you to come and showcase to her what you've done as a club, one of the things you have to do is make sure you show her that one very perfect project that you have in your club. Welcome with me today, the Rotary Club of Kasangati, as it hosts the District Governor Anne Nkutu at their project in Makukuba, and later to a reception at their Rotary Club, where they will have a club assembly and something to bite. But what is important that I want you to think about as you watch this show is that this is one of those impactful shows that I like to showcase, because we show what Rotary is, we show what it is about, and we show the different things that Rotary is about. And today we are going to adopt a community, 9 villages here on Kalaji Road that are being taken care of by the Rotary Club of Kasangati. Welcome to the Rotary Moment Show. About 2 years ago, we were approached as a Rotary Moment team to cover the Makukuba village. What I saw then was one of the most tearful experiences that I've ever had. We found people drinking water from the same place as cows do.
Kyala yeno okuzaala tugenda mu ddwaliro lya gavumenti nakifuma. Abaana baffe tebalina masomero. Endwadde turimu si nnungi ensonga